if your mental and spiritual development does not remain synchronized with the power you're getting, you do not deserve it. You should know, and you should do your soul searching as you're growing higher in any field you are. Whether you are in a small shop and you're becoming an owner, you are an employee, you're becoming owner, or whatever it is, you hire, the more awareness you have to for your position, and the more ego you have to keep your own ego subdued, and you have to be wise, and you have to be considerate to all your employees and the people around you. The higher you go, the better you should get. Then only the proper mixture of the prosperity and the spiritual development, and that makes the life enjoyable. And that takes you to Paramatma. One or the other, if you're very smart and you never put yourself to this hardship of achieving something, it's not going to be any good, because you're not going to make any difference in the whole life at all. You will live and die basically by yourself, and your wisdom and your hard work will be ruined. At the same time, if you do all these things and you do get rewards, if you become mean and dishonest and all those things, you're going to be affecting a lot of people's lives around you. So it's very important that a balance has to be set in life. For that, soul searching is extremely important. So, if you live long, does it really matter? Because living long is like Nadir Shah. He was given so much diamonds and rubies and jewels, and he invaded in India 108 times. 108 times he invaded. He took all the camels and horses and the elephants and everything. And when he invaded Delhi, he pretty much took all the jewels, including Kohinoor, and all those things were taken away. And all these horses and the elephants were loaded and loaded with bags and bags and bags full of all this jewelry gone to a wrong guy, basically. So the thing is that the same way, equivalent to people say that I want to live long. But does it really matter? If you live long and if you don't deserve to live long, maybe you should not live long. The question is, that kind of gift, if it comes to you, it has to be, you have to make yourself worthy, that if the God has given you a long life, you have to make the best use of it, so that for the benefit of the whole world. So, same thing, that's the, physically you may be fit, but if mentally you are unfit, it's useless. And same thing, some people, they say that, okay, I do yoga. Our beloved guest is not here today, because he comes and goes as he pleases. So, you see, he says, you do yoga, and it makes you fit. But then what? Physical fitness, but that you stop at the body level. You haven't not gone anywhere. After doing yoga, you have a physical fitness, but if you're not doing anything that is substantial in life, that physical fitness, living longer, all these things has no value. You watch your health, and you stay away from this, eat healthy food, this and that. But all those things have no meaning if you don't have spiritual development, because it's only the one side of the equation. And the same thing happens. Rajneesh talks about, he says that because Patanjali gives all this Ashtang yoga, Ashtang Pad. So because you start with the Samadhi, 8 steps of Samadhi, that includes the Yam and Niyam, and then yoga, the asanas and pranayam, and then Samadhi, Dharana, and all those things. So until you progress, those are initial stages for taking care of your body. But the body is nothing if you don't move any forward. So, because Patanjali mentions that you will get a lot of siddhis and a lot of things will come. But even then, what good is that? So Rajneesh is very funny. He says, okay, so you did yoga and all those things and you got psychic powers that you can read somebody's mind. But do you really want to read somebody's mind? Why do you want to? It's bad as it is. You have garbage filled up in your own head, and then you want to go into somebody else's garbage. Yeah. What good is that, right? Your own garbage you want to get rid of, then you're picking up somebody else's garbage. Say you're walking on the street and all of a sudden you have a power that you can read everybody's mind. He says, well, somebody's thinking about their cow, somebody's thinking about their cat or a dog, somebody's thinking about their wife, somebody's thinking about somebody else's wife, whatever. How does it matter?
Yes.
And then all of a sudden in the whole crowd you find a yogi who can read everybody's mind, but now you're reading his mind. Now you have a real problem because
He's reading your mind.
No, he may be reading your mind, but now you're reading somebody else's mind who is reading somebody else's mind. Now you have an information overload. He says, this is ridiculous. This is childish. All these things don't mean nothing until you reach samadhi. Samadhi is the ultimate state of bliss, which is a thoughtless state. Nistarang man is samadhi, where you don't want any thoughts. And to reach that state it's a very delicate state. And you cannot use the matter to reach to the spiritual goal. Matter is created from the spirit. Matter will never take you. So performing any duties outside has a very limited value. All the achievements that you have has limited value. Until you go within and you connect yourself to the soul, material achievements have no value. So people who are ignorant and who are not spiritually awakened, it's better that they don't get the power. Unfortunately, but that's not the case. So science is the power. It's making us more and more powerful every day, but the peace in our mind is being robbed all the time. So we have to be able to utilize this power that has come in our hands, and to utilize that judiciously and in a balanced state. We need a balanced mind. So outside suffering can come only if a person is suffering inside. If I am happy and am totally satisfied in my life, I will never think about making anybody else suffer. Only if you have a dissatisfied mind, that mind is the only way a devious mind cannot bring the suffering for other people intentionally. All these killings of mass graves and all these things found in all these countries, all are acts of the people who have devious minds to begin with. So devious mind is the problem. So having a peaceful mind, automatically peace is going to come in the outside world. No matter how many treaties you make, no matter how many contracts you make, people turn right and left on a dime, no matter how much agreements you make, ultimate peace is going to happen only if everybody's mind becomes peaceful to begin with. So if I am in an unhappy situation, first of all, whatever is my material achievement, it's not going to let me be happy. And at the same time, now if I'm suffering, the only way I'm going to feel better if somebody else is also suffering, so I can synchronize with them. And it's simple as that.
Share.
Right. Then you become the same. So that's the way we're looking for homogeneity. If I'm suffering, might as well you also suffer. So then that makes me happy that, oh, it's not, mine is not as bad as his now, and this and that. It's very crooked, it's very cheap mind, but whether we like it or not, we all are suffering from these kind of feelings at the deep levels. Whether if you sit down and analyze, we might realize that whatever is happening at the country level, it's the same thing is happening at an individual level also, unfortunately, because it's the same minds everywhere. At the country level, again, countries hate each other. They don't want other countries to be there. The political power that's in the hands of politicians, they hate each other's countries, this and that. There was a story that, it's a fake story, but it does make sense, that once God became very disturbed with the state of the world, and there was so much nuclear powers had piled up, the nuclear weapons, and God was really concerned that I hope the whole world does not reach to an extinction. So he brought the three powerful countries' leaders, the US, Russia, and China, and says, okay, for once, I'm going to settle this so that there cannot be any further wars. So I'm going to grant you a wish for each country to come up with, and I'll try to fulfill that. So first, they asked American president, he says, what do you want? Just tell me one wish. So America says that God, we have no problem, we are very happy, very prosperous, and we're really dominating the commercial aspect of the whole world and all these things.
Okay.
But the only problem we have is Russia is coming in the way. We want Russia to be taken out of the world. Now, God was terrified. He says, how can I take the whole country as big as Russia out of the picture? But anyway, let me listen to the other people's thoughts on this. So he asked Russia, said, what do you want? He says, Russia says that we have no problem, we are doing very well, we have lots of oil, we have a lot of prosperity, but we don't want America on the picture of the world. So God was very disturbed. He says, I'm going to really have to think about carrying out these wishes. So they finally asked China. He says, what do you think? What is your wish? So China says that we are new in the game. We really don't want any destruction in this world. All we want is, we don't have any our wish. We don't want to give you any wish from ourselves. We just wish that both the wishes of America and Russia can be fulfilled simultaneously. So this is a literal, the story may be fake, but this is the literal state of mind of all the political leaders. Everybody hates each other. Everybody do not want anybody else to be around, the competition and all these things. But whatever is happening at the country level, don't you think it's happening at individual level also? Why do you think people build homes? The big homes are built not just for their own satisfaction, to show to the other people that my house is bigger or better than yours. And as soon as another bigger home comes sit in the neighborhood, all of a sudden the depression starts and all these things. So we get attached to our material possessions only so that we can fight, if not at the physical level, at the mind and spiritual level, to make yourself better or feeling worse than the other. This is a real game. This is what is happening on the real basis, right? And you dress up in the morning. Are you dressing yourself up just to feel good, or you want to make sure you look the best in the party? You want to look the best in the shop. You want to look the best compared to other people who are dressed. Now, what is this? At the subtle level, you want yourself to be better looking than somebody else. So that's again a war happening at the spiritual level, right? Instead of thinking, and yet, oh yeah, he's my buddy, she's my buddy, this and that, but I look better than her, or I look better than him. All those things are silly games, but that's what we're doing. That is what is happening at the spiritual level within our minds. So all this is happening because we are not satisfied with ourselves. If I am satisfied with whatever I look like, the way I dress up, the way I please, and if I'm happy with that, I don't have to compare myself with anybody else. When I compare myself with anybody else, then the war is going on.
Correct.
So my mind is disturbed to begin with. But if my mind is not disturbed, I don't have to worry about it. How I look and how I compare with other people, it becomes immaterial. So mental stability, mental satisfaction can happen only if you do the soul searching and you find your sweet spot of spirituality. That's the way to live life. And that's the direction we have to take. The knowledge to know the unknowable. Because that's something you have to become familiar yourself with. So we have all the signs of dissatisfaction at the spiritual level. We are not satisfied with ourselves. And that reflects in our behavior. But it becomes so common and so normal that we don't really think about it. You go to a party and everybody dresses up nicely and they say, yeah, I mean, everybody dresses up nicely. But at the end of the party, when they go home and they say, oh, she looked like that, and he looked like this, and I looked like that, it was literally a competition, basically. It was never a place where you could hang out, just have a good time, right? Who looked how good, this and that, and all that chinda chukli and all those things goes on until the next party. So our minds are not happy. If we don't have happy minds, we're not going to have a happy life. And this happiness is our own happiness. It's nobody else's. When I try to compare myself with someone else, and if I cannot beat somebody else in their looks or their height or their rich clothes or whatever, then I get depressed. Now, whose fault is that? You started it, so you are the one who's suffering. So might as well get rid of that. So again, the problem is within us. It's not with anybody else. So if whatever you have, you are spreading it around, basically. If you have unhappiness within your mind, if that's all you have, that's all you can give. How can you give something that you don't have? Even if you give to someone which may look like, it will be fake. It will not be real. I may come out and say, oh, you're my best buddy and this and that. But as soon as the guy walks away, I'm backstabbing him and I say, oh, he's crazy, this and that, and oh, he's like this and he's like that. That's not real friendship. Because on the appearance, I was saying being nice. But niceness was not in my heart to begin with. Inside I knew that I'm better than him, or I'm jealous of what he has that I don't have, this and that. But all that, I subdue it. I seal it tight so it doesn't come out, and only the right thing comes out at the party, and everybody says, oh, he's my best friend. I make him believe that I'm his best friend. But when I go home, oh, I feel good that he didn't look as good. I'm just giving an examples. These are real life things, right? These are real life situations. So whatever I have is what's coming back to me also. So fixing inside that's what's gonna help me. If I'm happy, on the contrary, if I'm very happy to begin with, it doesn't matter if the other person is dressed up properly or not, whether he speaks properly or not, whether he is superior to me or not, inferior to me or not, doesn't matter. If I'm happy, I just want to be happy.
Exactly.
With everybody's happiness, and so what? Have together. I mean, we are social animals. We get together, we have fun, and we depart without paying any attention to how anybody looks like or this and that, and all those things are not important. But that happened because I was happy in my mind to begin with. So everybody has to strive to have that happiness, and once we have that, your life becomes beautiful. Not just the party. I'm talking about in general. Anywhere you go, you will be spreading happiness because that's what you have.
Because you are happy with them.
Exactly. So science definitely has reached to the new heights, but the science in the hands of unhappy minds is very fatal. It can have very horrendous consequences, and it has
created more problems.
Yes, it has, yeah. So that's why it's very important to have a spiritual development. And like I said earlier, to focus your attention only on the spirit is also can be a disaster. That's what the Eastern countries have done. They have paid so much attention to the spiritual progress and has paid no attention to the material progress. So the poverty and all those things ensues because the life and the well-being of the people was neglected, and all the suffering that happened. So both the things has to happen simultaneously. Then only a true progress. In the West has made tremendous progress in the science, but spiritually they have been lagging behind. They have not recognized the existence of the soul, existence of the Atma, and then they have found that even after achieving the material satisfaction, the inside they're still remaining hollow. They're still not happy. They're looking for happiness somewhere else because they have realized that matter alone does not bring happiness. At the same time, soul searching only, doing meditation 24 hours a day, not going to work, also does not bring you happiness because then eventually it's going to start haunting you. So we need a society which can give you a balanced attitude towards the life. Because life is not just the body, and life is not just the soul either, but it's a beautiful balance of the mind and the body and the spirit. All those things have to be equated and balanced properly. So people who gave too much importance to the soul, what they did was they neglected the body. They said, we're going to run away from the world. Material achievements, material possessions, meaningless. Just walk away from it. They're not going to be happy because somewhere along the line, lack of matter is also going to make them suffer. So running away from the material presence, because matter is also a manifestation of God. Thoughts are manifestation of God. Matter is creation of God. When you run away from matter and you concentrate only on the soul, you're creating a duality in your mind. And there are religions who talk about only the soul and not the body. They say body pleasures are not important, body this is not important, run away from body, this life is useless, we ought to reach the nirvana, moksha, we don't want to come here back again. All these thoughts have created a